Hi.
It's been a while. It's been a very long time.
Yes, sure has.
I don't know. I didn't really think this out. I was too focused on done with this.
Very clear. What?
Iron Wings.
Oh, yeah. Unboxing video before this. And this whole thing, by the way, freezes. Whenever we do this countdown, on my screens it freezes, but Jake's it doesn't. So I have to look on Jake's, and the audio freezes for me. So okay.
Yeah, mini panic attack.
I didn't even know. I was like,
lost all my audio.
Yeah, it was bad on our end, but it ends up good. So.
The budget cuts. I mean, this is what happens when we golf. It just goes right to the
it's
clubs. Doesn't audio? Forget about it. It's out.
Colton said wrong sport, so it's true.
Wrong sport.
Wrong. Okay.
Cool. And you're going to be seeing your boys or whatever. Are they making their trip over to America anytime soon?
We talking some footy right now? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, we're talking football right now. Come on.
Yeah, I'm getting down to business. I'm out here retweeting, sharing, doing all this lovely stuff.
I'm retweeting. I'm sharing. I'm helping out. Don't worry.
Got to get the content out, man. But no, the boys are right now in Switzerland, and then my other team is coming over, but they're on the West Coast, so I will not be seeing either of them.
It's been a really long time. How long has it been? 4 years?
Well, not for you guys. Maybe for other.
Right.
I mean, blast from the past. Me and Will started the For the Fan podcast. How many years ago now, Will?
It was right where that monitor is outside that door right there. If you look at Dom's room, and then we just had a little TV dinner table that was just planted right there, and then the microphone's hooked up to it with my MacBook, which coincidentally exploded a week later, which is still the greatest story of all time.
That's true.
That was like what, 2018?
2018?
It'll be 5 years. And
it was either, it might have been 2018, yeah. No, 2017 into 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy. 2017, it's been that many years, and so officially full force now. Back.
Yeah, let's kick off episode 92 with a preview of the AFC West, and you are watching and or listening to For the Fan.
You are listening to For the Fan.
And here we go. We're just gonna kick right off into the AFC West. So with these, we're gonna be starting from the worst team and make our way to the division winner. That's how we're gonna do every single episode, and I will say it on every single episode. So let's start out with the Denver Broncos and the Walmart organization up in Mile High. Okay, it all started. Well, they traded for Russell Wilson back in March 2022. In the summer, they signed him to a 5-year, $250 million deal. They gave him a whole bunch of money, yada, yada, yada. And then we get to this point. They hired Nathaniel Hackett, the second coming of Jesus, as some Broncos fans would say. And it was a brick of a season. They put up Ben Simmons stats, if that's appropriate to say.
Very appropriate. Good defensively, terrible at everything else.
I don't know what happened with Russell Wilson, but he put up some of his worst stats, even playing more games than he did in 2021.
Sensational viral Russell Wilson versus bathrooms count going for a long time there, where it was like finally in December he scored
16 weeks to score as many touchdowns as he has bathrooms in his newly Denver area mansion.
Yes.
And let's not forget him in the aisles doing lunges, stretches, or whatever.
High knees on the plate.
High knees, Broncos country. Let's ride.
That's true.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
I thought it was let's cry.
Yeah. For a while it was let's cry.
After that. And then they put up the dud on Christmas Day. Nathaniel Hackett gets booted out.
This
They
team
booted him out, and then Russell Wilson had surprisingly 2 good weeks to end the season, which I don't know where that was. And now we get to this point. Sean Payton is now the head coach, and he takes over this Denver Broncos team. And let's I'll click over here.
Okay, I'll let you do it.
Let's look at this, and this is their current roster right now for offense heading into training camp right now. Tim Patrick tore his ACL last year. He was out the entire season. He comes back. They signed Marquez Callaway from the Saints, which is a pretty good signing for a fourth receiver kind of guy in this offense. They draft Marvin Mims. I believe that's a kid out of Oklahoma. I mean, Josh will probably mention this in the comments in like 2.8 seconds.
Yep.
But what Sean Payton did with this offense, he really built up this offensive line and added some big pieces like Mike McGlinchey from the 49ers and Ben Powers from the Baltimore Ravens, signing up to top dollar money and solidifying and helping Russell Wilson maybe get back into what we saw him in Seattle. I mean, probably not on the way out, but those years before he had that tragic broken hand in 2021. Not sure what your guys' thoughts on that are.
I mean, you have to think that especially with Sean Payton, that Russell Wilson had at least somewhat better of a year.
I mean,
it can't be any worse, right?
I have an overall thoughts on how I feel about this team, which I guess I'll save after we do defense and we ultimately talk about how we feel the teams will do or team or whatever. But I mean, yeah, this isn't even a bad offense. Like looking at this offense, this isn't even a bad offense. I know they went through like 5 running backs or so last year, so that part is a little bit iffy to me.
They had Javonte tore his ACL in Vegas. Melvin Gordon said, "Get me out. I'm not here anymore."
Then who?
Marlon Mack was there. There was a couple other pieces. I have no idea who they were.
Latavius Murray. Yep, he was.
And they got
brightest spot, I would say.
Chase Edmonds too. They traded in that big midseason trade last year.
So I'm not entirely, like psyched about their running back squad, but I don't know. They struggled with that last year and they went through all those running backs. But I mean, pass game, there's no reason this pass game should be poor in any kind of way, shape, or form. There's no reason Russell Wilson should be struggling for touchdowns. You
have to remember too, like last year, like Tim Patrick got hurt in like training camp, like immediately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even then, I mean, this is a deep receiving core. No, would you guys disagree with that? I mean,
I love every single piece of this. KJ Hamler, we haven't seen in a very long time. Lil Jordan Humphreys, he had some breakout games in New Orleans here and there. Kendall Hinton, I mean, the infamous last-second quarterback to start after every Broncos quarterback got COVID.
Yeah. And the NFL decided to make them play that game. So, yeah.
And then you also have Greg Dulcich who can catch and, block. I mean.
No, what are you talking about? That was their own fault. That quarterback thing was their own fault. They didn't listen to rules.
Yeah, they put all the COVID tracers in the corner of the room, and they're like, you know what? We don't need it.
Rules are rules, man.
We could have had Blake Bortles start, and I would have been the happiest man alive, but instead, we did not. I might make a what if video. What if Blake Bortles
What do you think about this offense?
I think there's the big question here is it all comes down to Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
There's talent. Like let's not discredit the talent. They beefed up the O line. They're going to get Williams back. He blew his knee out very early in the season. That was a great trade for me. Traded for him, blew his knee out right after I traded for him. So I think it literally comes down to Russ. Can Russ cook still? And I'm going to go with no. Great. I get Sean Payton has to come in and work his magic. At the end of the day, Russ has to throw the football still. So Russ has been in the league for a long time where I didn't think it didn't matter really who the offensive coordinator was. I hear all this talent they have at wide receiver. I got to see Russ do it. So unless Sean Payton can calm him down and enough of the, baloney that Russ has got going on here, I'm going to do high knees, middle of the thing, make it look like I'm such a big worker. I got to see Russ doing it on the field. Enough of the freaking shenanigans, and let's play some football here, Russ.
Yep.
So I got to see that, and that's where I'm going to talk about the Broncos. You got 2 words, Russell Wilson. On each team, Russell Wilson is for the Denver Broncos. That is literally where I'm at. I don't care what Sean Payton does. It literally comes down to Russell Wilson.
That's why I think the biggest impact for Sean Payton would be, and I'm not the biggest Sean Payton fan, but he's not going to tolerate that nonsense.
No, he already said, what is this whole your own office thing that you have in the like not even close to the locker room or whatever? He already commented on that and said that's not going to fly, So, I mean, it could be enough of an impact at a head coach that, hey, maybe the dude, cooks. But, yeah, I really don't know. It's a lot of proving in the first 4 weeks at least.
One thing that really interests me here is they signed Jarrett Stidham to like top dollar backup money. He's getting paid like $7 million to be the backup right now.
He didn't have a bad last couple weeks.
Well, I mean, he almost beat the 49ers in that amazing New Year's Day game. I mean,
that's true.
Crap, he could have done it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's head over to defense.
Backup quarterbacks get top dollar nowadays. Did we not see the offseason here?
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Got some money. Backups get money nowadays.
Tyrod Taylor is getting paid $12 million by the Giants.
Yes.
$60 million is just going
money
to quarterbacks.
Yes, money gets thrown around the backups, man.
And talk about money being thrown here, okay? Zach Allen from the Cardinals, really big piece here. One person that's not on this depth chart, and I think it might be their best pickup of the entire offseason, Frank Clark on defense. They really bolstered up that front seven again, and that's kind of like the Broncos, if you remember from like Peyton Manning era and all that stuff. I mean, you got the back end, though, back then with like Chris Harris and all company. But the front seven, though, I mean, they really missed that home run hitter and like a Von Miller, and I think they're trying to re-get that right now with a very good outside edge guy. So bringing in, Zach Allen, bringing in Frank Clark. Randy Gregory, hopefully he's healthy and he's able to play this year. I mean, that would be a big piece right here. But also, they drafted Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. And then I like the secondary as well, though. Pat Surtain, Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, Juan Williams. This is another good. Just good. I like it.
There's really no excuses for this team, I feel like, right? Just there shouldn't be no excuses for this team.
They were bad last year. They were bad last year, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that also falls in the thing of, hey, you could be a really good coordinator and a really bad head coach. Like there's some people that are really good coordinators.
But I do think it was more than Nathaniel Hackett last year, I mean,
there was too many things going around, and then the new
shenanigans from Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Like enough, dude. We get it. Like he should just came in the building. He doesn't have to prove himself like a rookie. Like, oh, look at this work I'm putting in, guys. Like doing the high knees. Dude, people want to sleep going to London. Like, I don't need where were they? Were they London or Germany? Either one doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't need you to keep me up, Russ, in the middle of the flight. And I'm trying to sleep. Like, my guy, take a seat. You're going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback at some point.
Wasn't he doing the high knees after they left? Like they were coming back. Weren't that?
No, it was definitely there. It was definitely going. It was definitely going. Yeah. When was the fire in the stadium? Was that also?
That was like off season. That was like
after or before
2022. Like that was like off
season.
Was
before. I don't know. It was just
like a year and a half ago.
It was like nonstop shenanigans. Whole team, whole stadium, owners. Right.
Literally, though, Russ needs to stop the baloney and let's play football. That's literally this team. There's talent. And by the way, can people stop talking to me about Jerry Jeudy? I've heard about Jerry Jeudy for the past 5 years. Can I see him do something first? The guy's done nothing. Sorry, I don't think Jerry Jeudy's all that. Heard all the Giants. Oh, we got to get Jerry Jeudy this offseason. For what? I don't think he's that good.
I think he's solid. He's also a number 2. So he's like...
I heard the thing of, you got to draft Jerry Jeudy. Draft Jerry Jeudy every fantasy season, too. No, he's not good.
I mean, that's like the Justin Fields of this season. No, you got to draft Justin Fields. He was number 4 in quarterbacks last year. Yada, yada, yada.
I think Justin Fields is going to be valuable.
Oh, yeah, he'll be valuable.
Well, wrong division, Will.
I know. We're still talking about a team with a B in its name, and it's an animal, too, so...
Yeah.
This one will get mauled by the other one. So,
yeah. Do we just want to talk about what we think they're going to do this year?
Let me click up their schedule really quick here.
Yes.
So this is their 2023 schedule. I had to triple check. I wanted to make sure that this was the correct schedule and not 2021. And then
not a day, a year. Oh, there's a year right there.
I know. I had to triple check myself. I think the most valuable
I would
piece
have
of
the John Madden circle thing, like every announcer does. Oh, boom, right there, Will. Boom, circle line.
he takes this, he goes that way, boom. Okay. I think the most valuable piece here is they play Kansas City pretty early in their schedule. I mean, they play them 19 days apart, but they play them 19 days. They play them 17 days apart, but they play them pretty early. They've usually been playing them like November and December. Now they're playing them.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't see a lot of wins on the schedule. I see the same thing as last year.
I think maybe Sean Payton can get them off on the right step 2-0. I think they could go 2-0 to start the season. I think so.
I think so too.
But it starts really falling apart before that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I could see maybe 6-7 wins tops. I don't know about you guys.
So I'm going to bring this back up, right? From last year. They went 5-12. Division record of 1-5 is certainly awful, but understandable. And they went 5-12. So, I mean, looking at this, I don't know. I mean, certainly there's Kansas City twice, and I don't expect them to win either of those. They got to play the Chargers.
They play Kansas City
Minnesota
every single year
because they have a good defense. You can hang around.
Yeah,
I think they get 3 division wins. I think they
clean
against the Chargers, and they clean against the Raiders, and they split with the Chargers.
That was my thought exactly. You got because the Raiders are. We'll get to them in a second, but
maybe they could shock the Chiefs. But I mean,
I was thinking about
Russell Wilson. Which one are you getting?
I was thinking about the Broncos a lot today because I did a lot of driving today, and I was just thinking that for some reason that was on my mind like the whole car ride because I knew we were doing this today, and I just thought about the Broncos a lot. And my conclusion that I just really came to was on paper. And maybe a little bit logically, I'd love to say this team's going to improve and things look decent. Sean Payton, Russell Wilson should be doing a little bit better, right? But like my gut is just like I see them going nowhere up, like at all.
I think you're going to get high knees week 3, and you're going to lose the locker room again, Russ.
I want to say like Sean Payton can elevate them to the playoffs. I mean, he did that with the Saints after Katrina. I mean, he brought the Saints to the NFC Championship game. I mean,
all right, who's the better quarterback though? Drew Brees or Russell Wilson?
I mean, that was Drew Brees coming off a major shoulder injury. Like he could have put that on.
I'm just asking, general for the group here. Drew Brees.
So we go in like 2006 Drew Brees, like coming off that injury.
Peak and peak. I would choose Russell Wilson.
I pick Drew Brees.
I mean, they're both on their way down. Let's go there. Both starting to on their way down.
Maybe
when was Drew Brees on his way down, though?
Exactly my point. Russell Wilson, I don't think he's looked great the past few years, to be honest. So that's kind of why I'm going Drew Brees here. And what is he magically doing with Russell Wilson here? 7 wins tops, like max 7 wins.
I would say
unless the Raiders are a lot worse than what we're going to get to here coming up. And they're going to be that bad, then sure, maybe. Like I'm telling you, I think they're going to finish last again. I don't think they're that good.
Especially in a very crowded AFC where, honestly, 11 teams probably have a shot to make the playoffs, but only 7
I think
get in.
This season will be so underwhelming for them that it's just going to be –
I think it's going to be painful. I think they're going to be one of those teams that's like close, but they're never going to be –
That's my point. They're going to be in a lot of close games, but don't worry, they're all going to add up to losses. Like
the Broncos might be a team. The Broncos might be a team that can just be like, okay, hey, you're on the doorstep of the playoffs. You're about to clinch. Nah, I'm beating you. Screw it. Like they could be like the playoff killers for some teams. I think that's what they can be this year, especially down that back end. Like play the Chargers twice.
Maybe when it's the garbage time of their season and they are not going to be making the playoffs, and maybe
they could just crush other people. Like they could crush.
Yeah. But
Raiders' hopes, Chargers' hopes. Because look, the Chiefs, they're just elevating their hopes even more.
Yeah, back end of the schedule.
From week 13 to week 18. There's some wins.
Literally, from week 10 on, you could see possibly 2 wins.
Well, Houston, maybe one of the LA games, New England and the Vegas.
Cleveland, even maybe a little bit.
I had them Minnesota and Houston. That's what I have. I don't know if they're winning any of the other games. I mean, I get a division game. They could win. They could win the Raiders. Like the Raiders could be a dumpster fire. Like who knows how they're going to be? To be honest, thankful we're getting to them next. But I'm I'm good. I'll pass on the Broncos, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they're gonna be awful.
Like I said, I can say all the things that are on paper, but my gut tells me constantly just like, nope.
Yeah, you're going to be mediocre. That's what this team's screaming to me.
Yeah.
Mediocre. Not terrible enough to get a good draft pick and not good enough to make the playoffs. The worst spot you want to be.
Yeah.
Let's advance. Let's go to Vegas. Maybe we can get some luck here. I mean, last year, Josh McDaniels took over, and
I hate you. I know what you just did. I hate you very much for what you just did. Hopefully, we get lucky in Vegas. Really. Really. Let's be better.
I don't know. I see all these all-you-can-eat buffets. I mean, I kind of want to go to Vegas. Maybe I can test my casino luck or something.
Will would gamble just so he can spend his money at a buffet.
Hold on, casino. You're not allowed to gamble. You forget what you work for.
I can't sports bet. I can gamble if it's not
that's
on company time.
Stupid. Oh my god! I'm out. That's a conversation for another. That's another podcast after you get through all these divisions. That's a conversation for another day.
Oh, here we go, Colton.
Oh, dinner steak in Vegas.
No, a diner.
Oh, diner. Oh god. Oh yeah, boys. You guys are friends with a guy that likes diner steaks. Yeah. You guys are friends with a guy that gets diner steaks.
One, I think it was funny. It just completely covered Jake's face entirely. Two, I read it as dinner steak, and then when
So did I. It was so fast, and then I'm like, oh wait, that says diner. I realized she's memeing Will. So that's
funny. All right,
Let's
so,
get back on track here. So the Raiders last
you gotta
season.
hide your face from the memes of diner steaks. Since we're back, you want to explain that to everyone? Yeah, front center. There you go.
Okay,
No. Front center. Will go ahead. Go ahead. We're back. It's been a few years. You know, let's go into detail what you've been up to lately. You know.
Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, let's think of 2017. Will, I'm a broke college student. Okay, and I just want to get the best bang for my buck. So, with my girlfriend Allison, that was on there. Okay, we went to the Jackson Diner. Okay. And I got a steak there, and I got the bang for my buck. I got 2 sides, a steak, a salad, like $15. I couldn't beat it. Okay, for a broke college kid, that's a deal and a half. I'm sorry.
I'm glad
dinner.
Jake and Don both have the same disgustable look that I have when I first heard that story. So, all right, I'm very sorry for interrupting. I had to.
Should I say the other ick too? Like, oh, I like to sleep with the door open. Whatever demons that want to come in.
You want to let all your dirty laundry out? Go right ahead, man. Let it flow. Let it flow, Will. You want to let all the dirty laundry out? Go ahead, man. But hold on, you might get lucky in Vegas. So hold on.
Oh my god, that's funny.
So in Vegas, okay, they hired Josh McDaniels last year. They think, oh, him and Derek Carr can elevate the Raiders to the next level after making the playoffs in 2021 under special teamer Tony Bichetta. I probably said that name incorrectly, but who cares? They traded first and a second round pick for Devontae Adams, and they said, oh, Fresno State coming back, 1-2 combo. Raiders are going to be running the West. That's what they're going to do. But instead, it was a bit of a flop of a season. Derek Carr gets benched. He leaves the facility. Doesn't come back to the facility until the Pro Bowl. I mean, and then that was a weird interaction they had to deal with there. Derek Carr gets cut. He goes to New Orleans. They bring in Jimmy Garappolo, who knows Josh McDaniels' system because he was there for 3 years in New England. And now we get to this point. Let's see. Where's the button? There it is. So with Jimmy G, who suffered a broken foot last year against the Miami Dolphins, did not heal correctly, and he's still kind of questionable going forward right now. Apparently, he's going to be projected to be healthy for training camp and whatnot. Here is their roster going forward. They bring in Jacoby Myers from New England, Philip Dorsett, Keelan Cole. Offensive line, they drop Alex Leatherwood, who had a fight with Mono last year with the Bears. Pretty entertaining fight. Colton Miller, former first-round pick of 2018. They trade away Darren Waller, another big piece from the Raiders, and then they bring in Austin Hooper, O.J. Howard, and they draft who some think was the best tight end in the 2023 draft, Michael Mayer, out of Notre Dame. And what's interesting here right now is Josh Jacobs. He's currently on the franchise tag. They have until Monday at 4 p.m. to sign said extension. If not, he has to play on the franchise tender, which is $10.1 million. So, what are your thoughts on the New England, Las Vegas Patriots here?
It is definitely a one. I mean, you're looking at a completely different appearance, obviously, here. We've seen the same sort of kind of Raiders appearance with Derek Carr, Darren Waller, pieces together like that. And you've seen that appearance for years. And this is entirely a different appearance other than Josh Jacobs, which we know what we're getting. And last year we got maybe a top 5 running back in the league. That was solid. But this receiving game, passing game is 100% different. A little bit of difference on the line. Yeah. And Patriots all over. Jimmy Garoppolo, Philip Dorsett, Jacoby Myers. So I don't know. There's some recipes here that could work. Jimmy G, Hunter Renfrow is kind of in that style a little bit. Josh McDaniels there. Jacoby Myers is even a pretty safe receiver to throw to, and doing some switching around. Thank you, Will. And either way, I mean, there are recipes here that could work together pretty well. But Colton said it. They could also be a dumpster fire.
I'm leaning they're going to be dumpster fire.
So
I'm going dumpster fire too. We're talking about a guy that had a quarterback guru and offensive wizard in Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to throw the football with him. Now he's going to have to throw the football quite a bit with that division because their defense is not elite.
No.
So they're going to have to put points up. So it comes down to the man in the box, and that is Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, It's a quarterback league for a reason, and especially in the AFC. It is all on Jimmy G, and there's already questions about him with his physical going into this season with the Raiders. So I have no idea how this is going to work out for Vegas. I don't know if they're getting lucky, Will. I don't know if they're getting lucky.
There's two stats.
Also, if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play, they could get out of that contract with not paying him a single penny.
Great, then they're in square one again. So they better full-blown tank.
They got Aiden O'Connell. Come on, Purdue.
I just realized also Brian Hoyer because, of course. I just realized that because, of course, Brian Hoyer. But
you also miss Brandon Bolden.
Is he on this team?
Yeah, he's right behind Amir Abdul. I forgot Amir Abdul is even in this league still. It's been so long.
But, I mean, Brandon Bolden's, Brandon Bolden. We know what we get with
Something I do want to bring up. So last time Jimmy G started all 16 games, or a full season, because now they're not 16, they're 17 with the Niners in 2019. I mean, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, a quarter under 4,000 yards passing. That's fairly decent for him, I gotta say. I mean,
but you also have an guru
there. He might have better targets than he did in San Francisco.
Niners.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a rookie Debo. They didn't even have Ayuk back then.
But I don't know.
They were never good at. They're not going to be good at passing the ball, and they weren't really last year. Yeah. And they're terrible defending the passing game. Colton said it's a quarterback league in a quarterback division. Those two things don't add up well.
No, 100%.
Who has a better?
Again, they're either third or fourth in quarterback play in the division. If it's really dumpster fire, Russell Wilson, they're third. Great. And if Russ is halfway decent, they're fourth. That's not a great place to be in your division that has, first ballot Hall of Famer guy that's still lighting the league on fire in Mahomes. Herbert on the rise. We'll see what they can finally do there because the Chargers have to finally get a playoff win. They just choke everything away. So if the Chargers can finally get a playoff win, they're on and rolling. And by the way, this team is so running back dominant, wanting to run the ball and control the game. You may not even know if you have Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
these guys want to get paid. So he could do the same thing Barkley's doing. And then you're stuck with Brandon Bolden and Amir Abdullah. So this could really get nasty here.
Yeah, that offensive line's not good enough to really play that game, nor with the defense.
No.
No, they miss Rodney Hudson, man. They miss him. They miss Gabe Jackson. That offensive line, like from 6 years ago, was so great, and now it's just like I don't know what's happening here. It's sad.
And yeah, these aren't bad tight ends, but you're still downgrading in the tight end category as well.
Well, I mean, they're probably paying all these tight ends the same amount as they would pay Waller.
Probably together. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying.
Austin Hooper's probably getting paid like $5 million, $6 million. Myers, $1 million. OJ Howard's like $2 million, and then you got 3 guys that are just going to get cut after.
There are so many Patriots on this team. It blows. Even the fullback, Patriots player, Jacob Johnson. It blows my mind how many Patriots are on this team. I mean, I get it, Josh McDaniels, but geez.
Let's
move it over.
Let's move over here. So the defense here, I mean, Jerry Tillery, I mean, that's a pretty big piece. Chandler Jones, I mean, it was besides there's one kind of like big game last year, he was kind of quiet, but the addition of Tyree Wilson, they did draft a lot of defensive players. I mean, even though they might be later, I mean, they also got, some undrafted free agents too.
They did draft a lot of players.
Outside of like Marcus Epps,
yeah.
I don't like the secondary. Marcus Epps is like the only guy I know.
David Long's good. I like David Long a lot for the price tag they got him for.
There's some guys on here.
Trayvon. Trayvon.
Yeah.
They got from
there's some guys
Arizona.
Be all right.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Like that's what I was banking on them to have at least a decent defense last year.
Yeah.
But that never happened. Like I thought Max Crosby and Chandler Jones was gonna be a lot better. I was a big believer in a lot of their younger guys they drafted recently, like Morig and Divine Diablo.
Yep.
And it just nothing has worked. None of the secondary guys or outside of lineman guys on the defense the last 6 years they drafted have worked out.
What about Robert Spillane there, Colton? Will he be any good? I'm not sure if he was like.
I like Bob Spillane.
I don't know if you're like sad that he may have like left Pittsburgh or whatnot.
No, Pittsburgh needed a whole new middle linebacker crew room. Clean house, got new guys in. But yeah, I like Bob Spillane. Good for him. He got his bag. It relies on Chandler Jones and Max Crosby, and we saw how that worked last season. And Chandler Jones is getting another year older now, so they got to put up points. It's literally what it comes down to in the AFC West. How many points can you score? And no idea how many points you're going to score.
Like at least Denver has a defense that can try to slow down Kansas City and LA. This one just gets dog walked.
It's valid point.
Let me pull up their schedule here.
It's slightly.
I'll zoom in on it really quick. Let's do that.
Yeah, there we go. Much better.
Looking at it right here. 4 wins.
Okay, let's to go back, right? I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time. What's our benchmark here? 6-11.
6-11.
3-3 is actually better than I expected or thought it was going to be. But
I'm telling you, they could finish with 8 wins too. Not much better. Honestly, they could be around the same. Like, who do you got in the schedule that you love? We both just called Denver dumpster fire possibly with them, so that could be a coin flip. They can both split that. The Colts possibly, but not guaranteed. Like their defense is so bad, they can get blown out in a lot of these games, and then it forces Jimmy G to sit back and throw the ball, and Jimmy G gets hurt like week 4. This could be an absolute disaster for them.
This could be a 3-win season as well.
This could be very bad.
Yeah. Like, I look at the schedule, and I am not confident in,
all the games you can possibly pick out and say win, maybe. Bears and Colts?
I don't
Patriots, maybe?
Maybe one.
That's what I'm saying, Jake. Like, there's nothing here that you love.
2 at most, maybe, if you think Green Bay doesn't take that step with Jordan Love.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe get a lucky one against the Giants, Colts. Yeah.
There's nothing here I love.
Maybe the Vikings, too. I mean, the Vikings were like a really weird team last year.
Yeah. Jeez.
I think this team could easily be the worst team in the division.
Easily.
I think they will.
Very easily.
Probably in the AFC, they could even be the worst team. Like
The wins I gave Denver were against Vegas.
Yeah.
Like I think they sweep them
this is just
because you're asking Jimmy G to play mistake-free football against a good defense. With no
And-
line and moderate weapons.
You look at all these teams, right? They either have a decent defense or they're just going to outscore the Raiders on offense. Like a majority of
the
these.
Chargers are going to put up numbers this year. I really think they're going to put up like really good numbers, and I know we'll talk about them in a couple
You want to
seconds.
get into them? Because
Yeah, I
I want to get into them right now. Let's do
you
it.
were making the segue yourself. But
yeah.
make it
I
happen.
know. So
I'm big
the
on
Chargers, okay, 10-7 a year ago, 2-4 in the division. How did they make the playoffs even with 2-4 in the division? That's something that we will never know. Last year, Justin Herbert takes another big stride, adding to an already impressive early on to his career, going from, Anthony Lynn to now the current head coach and whatever his name is. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. But the big piece,
Staley?
Brandon Staley,
There you go.
they had a roller coaster of a year last year. They ended up losing Michael Williams in a Week 18 game that they did not need to play any starters in. They just wanted to get reps. They lose Mike Williams' back injury. I think he broke a vertebrae in his back. He had at least a minor fracture in one of the vertebrae. Didn't play in the playoff game. They showed off amazingness in the first 28 minutes of a playoff game. You turn off the TV thinking, oh, the Chargers win. Nope, they choked it away. Jaguars win that game. And it leads to bigger questions here. They fire their offensive coordinator and they bring in the best piece probably of the entire offseason they have, Kellen Moore, who will probably elevate Justin Herbert's career to the next level. And he could probably be breaking a lot of records and putting himself into the Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady-esque record highs, even Peyton Manning as well.
I mean, I think I can speak for Dom and I both that we were excited to see that Staley was not calling any offensive plays anymore. Not handling the offense whatsoever anymore.
I can't stand Brandon Staley
He's so bad.
all the way around, if I'm going to be honest. I have not been able to stand him. And then he pulled that stuff in game 18 last year, or 17, whatever, where he starts them and people get hurt. And now we're going into a playoff game
He's just
on a team that needs to win a playoff game. And then it's just unnecessary stuff. And then his play call. And then I just am not excited
I
about
think he's
him.
just the classic guy who thinks he's the smartest dude in the room.
It's possible.
He thinks he's smarter than you.
I think he holds back the team a lot.
Like his analytical things, calculations that kept them from doing the tie, and you both make it in.
But the addition for OC now could be big, like you said, 100%.
I think Kellen Moore can honestly, I think he could reach Peyton Manning numbers with Kellen Moore in offense. I mean, it all starts too. They drafted Quentin Johnston in the first round. You may say, why is he lined up as the right receiver? Apparently, according to the reports, he already beat out Joshua Palmer and Jalen Guyton for that third wide receiver spot on the team. He's already going to be starting, and that's another huge guy. Mike Williams is 6'4", Quentin Johnston 6'4", Keenan Allen I think is like 6'3", 6'2". You have big guys lined up for Justin Herbert, and it's always going to be a 50-50 ball, and I think it's probably 100% always going to be going to a Chargers guy's hands.
Nice tight end room.
Yeah, Gerald Everett, Donald Parham. The offensive line is probably the best in the entire division with
Everett
Slayers, Zion Johnson.
Man. Everett was great for them last year, 100%.
I really think that just the best additions or the best things that could possibly happen for the Chargers are additions that aren't even player related. Apparently they changed their medical staff, so maybe they're not the most injured team in the league every year. And an offensive coordinator who actually knows what he's doing.
I think they got to get teased again. I think this is going to be another fun season for the Chargers. Going to make the playoffs, and they're going to get bounced in the wild card.
Yeah.
Staley gets fired. Then, and only then, will I believe in the Chargers.
Wow. So, Colton, you're on the Staley out train, huh?
I believe so.
He's bad.
Good. Awesome. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I was wondering what your opinion was going to be when I said all that.
Yeah, no, I actually thought he was going to get fired this offseason.
I was kind of hoping he would, to be
I
honest.
thought that was going to be like the surprise fire, even though it's not a surprise. And I think he was going to be on his way out, and then Harbaugh was going to take the Chargers job. But thankfully, none of that happened, so we're in business now.
Wow.
How many more years has Harbaugh signed at Michigan?
He just signed an extension, I believe.
An infinity year extension
I
for infinity dollars.
No, he's going to go to the league at some point. The teasing is too much where he's not going to go, but he's waiting for the right job. Like, why would he take the Colts job? Like, why? Like, to go draft a quarterback? Like, why would he take the Denver job? Everyone's always going to Denver. Why? He's strapped with Russell Wilson. Why would he do that? So, if a job like the Chargers opens up with Justin Herbert as your franchise guy, yeah, that's worth leaving a college job that you got at the highest peak. That is worth the job taking.
So, what's the deal with Eckler currently?
They re-upped his franchise tag where he's making more money.
Okay.
Yeah, they redid his contract. He makes a little more money, but the Chargers don't want to pay him, so he's probably going to be out after this year.
Okay. Well, hey. I mean, this offense is stupid. This offense is pretty freaking solid.
I think this is a top 5 offense in the AFC.
Has to be.
Oh,
Some of the best
saying AFC,
receiving
yeah.
core you have, as far as 3 guys, maybe into a 4th. You have a solid receiver tight end, solid guy. Justin Herbert. Now you have this offensive coordinator that, I mean, if he could glue it all together and play call well, which we expect him to, and be that much of an improvement from Brandon Staley, I mean, the sky's the limit for this team, is it not? Or at least for the offense?
I really think they could compete with the Chiefs. I think the Chargers have a really good shot to take over the AFC West and have the Chiefs have to play on the road.
Yeah, with help.
Patrick Mahomes has never played on the road in the playoffs. It's always been at Arrowhead, and then wherever they play the Super Bowl at. He's never had to just not be the
I'll believe when I see it when it comes to crunch time with the Chargers. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, you know they're going to be good talent-wise, but some odd reason, it's always a downfall in the second half. It was blow it away. Can't get a stop.
Yeah.
I'll believe when I see it with the Chargers. I think they're going to get 10, 11 wins again. They're going to be there. They probably sweep the Raiders, maybe sweep the Broncos. Like, the Broncos defense is really good, so like we'll see. But most likely, they split with Kansas City. So they're going to be a 10, 11 win team, possibly even 12. Like, they're going to be very good. They're probably going to get bounced in the wild card because inexperienced head coach going to do something stupid again, and they're going to be bounced again. That's kind of what I see it.
Let's take a look at the defense, because I know this defense ain't bad. I know this defense.
I mean, they don't have J.C. Jackson on there. I don't know how far he is coming back from that weird knee injury, the torn patella and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes back. But the addition of Eric Hendricks after he got cut from the Vikings due to budget situations up there.
That's huge.
I mean, and look at the defense too. Like, what? Tuli
Defense.
I think I probably said that name as best as I could out of Bama. Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Derwin James, Michael Davis. Oh, no, J.C. Jackson's on there.
Asante Samuel Jr. was insane at the end of last year. I mean, and had a great season all the way around. But
like 3 interceptions against the Jaguars in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team, man. This is a defense of a bunch of dudes that are good at football.
Guys.
Straight up and down. Just a bunch of guys that are great at football.
Like, your middle linebackers are Kenneth Murray.
Yes.
I don't think they gave him the 5th-year option. I think he walks after this year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you can negotiate after that too. You don't need to.
Yeah, you can. But I mean, you don't want to be like Daniel Jones, where you're forced to pay him $45 million and then you're screwed.
Again, it comes down to the coach in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one name for every team in this division. The first 2 were quarterbacks. This one is the head coach.
The thing is, I don't think Steve is that bad as a defensive coordinator guy. He's not a great head coach, and now he's not covering the offense. I think that's just like where it stays. You're a glorified coordinator coach. Like, how many times have we seen where a really good coordinator becomes a head coach, and then they get a guy to fill the problems that they have?
Well, I just don't understand. You got a young quarterback, and you hire a defensive-minded guy. That just made zero sense from the start.
It's like Buffalo. I mean, Sean
Well,
McDermott.
McDermott's been there, though. McDermott's been there for a while, and he had good coaches around him. Like,
I mean,
so
that's
it's
also like Belichick. I mean, Belichick.
guys that have been there. That's the thing. Those are guys that have been there. If you're like brand new hiring a coach, it's
Is
usually
Mike Tomlin a defensive guy?
Yeah,
sure is. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You also got Bob Sala. You got
The guy didn't Indeed
Bowles.
just hired.
Todd Bowles.
No, who
the Cardinals. Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals. Let's say Cardinals hired a defensive coach from
Jake's
Philly.
favorite human in the entire world.
man, around me.
The-
Unless you're saying the pew pew explosion noises afterwards to make fun of them.
You got a schedule for us? Well, I want to see the schedule.
Oh yeah, let me pull it up really quick. I didn't want to do it last time and then
it's messed
screw
up.
us all up.
Yeah, you're good. Oh, we gotta. How do we?
Oh, here I got it. Let me.
There we go.
You're good there.
got
You're good.
this.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
You're good.
Looking at this, I think they start 4-0 before the. I think 4-0 is a pretty. It could happen before the bye. I mean, the Dolphins might be the hardest team they got to play before the bye,
Yeah.
and then they got to play the
There's a
Cowboys.
lot
That's
of
gonna be very
potential.
difficult.
There's a lot of potential there for the Chargers. It literally comes down to Staley, man. Can they actually win a playoff game?
I
Get
think they
the
could
mark
go
off
5-1 in the division. I think they split with the Chiefs and they could sweep the others. I mean, the Chargers have probably the worst luck playing a mile high. They play for some reason like the worst games up there. But I mean, no one plays perfect as the away team up there.
I mean, you could realistically in the last 2 months of the season, they could have just 2 losses.
I agree.
Running into the playoffs red hot. Well, if not January, but just November, December, like 2 losses there. And then,
I think that Chiefs game in January, they're both going to be bent. Mahomes and Herbert probably aren't playing that game.
unless they're
Unless
fighting
it
for the
matters.
seed there, that's a nothing game.
Which they very well could be. I mean, very well could be. With how this team is and what we think of this team and their schedule, I mean, they could be entering that Chiefs game with 3 losses.
I mean, they do got to go to Green Bay, but I mean, it's still going to be like 40, 50 degrees up there, and it's an early game, so they probably don't have to worry about that. But then you got to go to New England December. Cold as all hell. You go into Vegas. I mean, it's what, the Death Star, the Roomba. I forgot what Gruden called it. And then you got to play Denver in Denver, and that's probably going to be a snow-filled game. Or you might be lucky, and it's going to be 75 and sunny because I never knew Denver was a desert until now.
I mean, history shows that that'll be a Ravens team without Lamar.
They play a lot of home games early on, too.
Very possible.
I'm just saying we've seen. The trend is that might be a Ravens team without Lamar. So who knows?
So glad the Ravens signed him. Oh.
I don't even got Colton on my debate team there.
We got me and Colton will be a strong force on that argument whenever that happens.
I'll join that.
But yeah, which all about it. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Let's advance to.
How about those Chiefs?
I don't think they do the chop anymore. I don't think so. I don't think so. After all the movements and all that stuff, I think the chop's been eliminated. But hey, how about them Chiefs? The FBI caught their super fan, the Wolverine guy, whatever. I mean, he's in federal prison. He's probably never coming out again.
Bro, can we talk about how that dude
Oh yeah, let's talk about that really quick.
only robbed like 7 banks and maybe almost $1 million?
Now it makes sense that he wears that whole getup at the game, so no one catches him. It makes. So
I haven't
much
even
sense
seen a
now.
picture of him as a person.
Oh, Pat McAfee posted a photo of him.
Yeah.
Like you could find Chief Superfan and you could see like what he looks like. Here, maybe I can look it up.
Before he broke, he posted his face.
I mean, you don't need to put his face on here, but
Yeah, I'll show it after. Okay.
right up there. I mean,
Do you see this man? No.
Well, he's caught now.
he's
so it's all
he's
good.
back there somewhere, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, he was in jail by then.
No.
What?
What? He was on the run.
No, he was in jail by then. He was caught though.
Man on the run.
He just got caught.
Yeah, he just got caught like last week, Will.
No, he escaped and then he got caught.
Oh.
Person then got caught by the FBI. Like,
This guy is they need to sign him. Running back problem solved.
But yeah, there's no questions here with this team.
the Chiefs, I mean, you couldn't have scripted any better. I mean, there's no the Chiefs are probably still right now the undisputed number one team in the AFC. Can teams compete with them like Cincinnati and Buffalo? Yeah, they can compete with them because they're good. But 14-3 last year, 6-0. Everyone says, "Up, the Chiefs are done. Look at this team." And then Mahomes and Kelsey said, "Hold my beer. We got work to do." And then to the offense, Patrick Mahomes, after signing that 10-year, $500 million deal 3 years ago, he's the seventh highest paid quarterback in the league, which is still ridiculous to think about all these years later. They redo the offensive line again.
It's really wild looking at this roster.
They redid this offensive line again. Jawan Taylor, Donovan Smith. They let what's his face go to Cincinnati. That was with Baltimore. They let the other right tackle go as well. They redo it again for the third time in 3 years.
Yeah,
and then the offense here.
Kind of crazy to look at, to be honest. Like, you look at the wide receiver room. There's no one there that pops out to you like, damn, they have a legit number one guy. If you take out Kelsey, clearly Kelsey's the number one. I'm not stupid here, but like looking at the receiver room, there's no one there that pops to you. Like Kadarius Toney could be very well a Tyreek Hill type player for them this year with a full off season and cutting out the social media crap. The hack.
When he's not.
Oh no, it was hacked. Sorry,
Eagles.
Yeah, so like,
it was hacked. Yeah, it was hacked.
They're wild, man. It's kind of crazy. Mahomes, like at first, I'm like, he's got too much talent around him. I'm like, Mahomes, like he's great. I'm not disputing the talent, but there's a lot of really good players around him. Now it's starting to dwindle down to the man in the box, and Mahomes is just special, man. It's kind of wild. Like Sky Moore, great. He was a rookie last season, didn't do anything special. To like, yeah, okay, he could be really good for them. Apparently, he looks good in the offseason so far. Okay, I believe it on some days.
He had good moments.
Valdes-Scantling, I never loved him in Green Bay. Like he was like, you have Aaron Rodgers, and got dropped a ton of freaking footballs. So I was never a big Valdes-Scantling guy. Kadarius Toney is a great player.
Yeah.
Potato chip hamstrings, though. That's kind of the issue there. The guy's hurt. Like,
or potato chip Giants medical staff. I don't know.
Could be.
Also, you're forgetting Jerick McKinnon, who was gigantic in the pass game at times.
Darling of a fantasy pickup towards the end of the season.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yep. Isaiah Pacheco as well. Yep. There's two people on this offense that really stand out to me. It's John Ross, who's now getting another chance after being out of football for 2 years. The John Ross that was Cincinnati's first-round pick in 2017. And Justin Ross, you
know where he went to college, John Ross? Since he hasn't been relevant? Where John Ross go to college?
John Ross?
I got it on I got Wiki open right here, so I can already tell you the answer.
I hate you. All right, well, Dom and Jake.
I wanted to make sure it was the same person I'm thinking of.
Washington.
Where did John Ross go to college? Since he's kind of been irrelevant since he was drafted so high.
Had to say it again?
Say it again.
Yeah, I haven't heard you once.
Oh. University of Washington.
Bingo. Yes. I just wanted to make sure.
Richie James still had more yards than Tony.
Where's Richie James now? Because he's not in the Giants.
He's right here. He's on this team.
Completely skipped past that. Richie James is low key not a bad receiver whatsoever, like at all.
Yeah, but he's like a wide receiver 3. I agree with you. He's a solid guy, but he's a wide receiver 3.
He was like the most consistent, best receiver for the Giants in the past 3 years.
That's saying a lot. I agree.
Yeah. I would love to see Justin Ross make this roster because, I mean, him and Trevor Lawrence at Clemson was just magical. I mean, he didn't get the best luck last year. Season-ending injury. I'm not sure what he had, but it ended there. I mean, who would you pick here in this situation? The Chiefs offense on paper or the Chargers offense on paper?
I'm taking the Chargers offense on paper.
hands down.
But at the end of the day, it is going to be Kansas City.
That's absolutely a fact.
They have the
I'm not buying into that. Oh, they're going to come down again. I've heard it like the past 3 years. So I'm going to stick with what's good, and I'm going to stick with the Chiefs. So I'm not stupid here.
What's also funny is, too, they had Chad Henne, who, helped them in that playoff game against the Jaguars last year. He wins the second ring, goes off in the sunset. Blaine Gabbert's the backup now. So he goes from Tom Brady to now Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Your little hee-hee-ha-ha of the day. Let's go into the defensive side. Dom, I'm not sure if you thought that was funny, my hee-hee-ha-ha moment of the day.
Yeah,
I saw you look up and you're like...
I looked right at the camera, which I haven't done too much of.
What? So Frank Clark, he cap casualty. It was either him or Chris Jones. They were paying both of them $27 million. They were getting charged on the cap. They let him go. He goes to Denver, and this is their defense going forward. They draft Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I'm proud of myself. I said that correctly. Out of Northwestern. I still like the defense, man. I mean, the corners I don't really like. I mean, inexperienced, but they played great down the stretch. I mean, they held the Kansas City trio receivers to, nothing essentially against them in the AFC Championship game. But hey, George Karlaftis, another year with them. Derek Nandi, another year. Chris Jones gets older. Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, Justin Reed. The kicker, safety, wombo combo of a player there. I don't like the defense. I really don't. But, I mean, the offense wins them games. That's what they do. Defense makes one stop. They do it for them. But have at it. I'm not really too sure what you want to...
I mean, you said it. The offense wins them games.
Defenses win championships, but Patrick Mahomes
They'll
wins.
get one stop. That's the thing. They'll get you a stop somehow. I don't know how they do it. Chris Jones is going to make a play. And that's what it is. And they got some good corners brewing up in the back end again. I think Trent McDuffie was a great player again at the University of Washington. Another solid player drafted there. L'Jarius Sneed was a really good player for them last year as well. They always find a corner, man. Did you ever notice that? They always find a corner or two.
Yep.
And they work out for them. It's crazy how certain positions and certain teams, they do really well. And Kansas City in corner is one of those positions.
The Patriots are the same way. It doesn't even matter. Stephon Gilmore, okay, cool, bye. JC Jackson, okay, cool, bye. Like, it just happens over and over and over. Corner.
But Dom can't find a receiver, Dom. Can't find a receiver.
Yeah, that's Nikhil Harry,
Even going back to Philly, Andy was great finding corners. Those early days of Sheldon Brown, Troy Vincent.
I mean, real talk. Who's a better head coach, Bill Belichick or Andy?
Andy.
What do you think, Colton?
That's riding the hot hand. That's riding the hot hand. What he's doing with Mahomes, it's very
no cheating scandals.
Well, not known, just not ones that are in the media or any of that stuff. But
I mean, he has Mahomes. Mahomes is special. I mean, Belichick had Brady. Brady, helped him. Well, defense won the first 3 Super Bowls, and then Brady won the last 3 for them up there.
Absolutely.
So it's just, as Colton said, it's just kind of riding that hot hand going forward with them.
I mean, as a Patriots fan, I am not afraid.
I don't know how you can't say Belichick right now. That's kind of.
I'm not afraid to say that I think Andy Reid is a better coach, but.
Well, I mean, that's also the way the league's going. It's offensive.
100%.
He's clearly got the better quarterback.
Yeah.
If he has Patrick Mahomes, we could be totally talking a different conversation here. I mean, it would be absurd then, clearly. It would Brady to Mahomes. But, I'm just saying, hot hand, you're comparing Mac Jones to Mahomes. The vision's a lot better. It's hard.
That's valid.
But going back to what we said, though, the defense makes a play. The Chargers would have won that Week 2 game last year, and then a guy named Jalen Watson, who 3 years prior was working at a Wendy's drive-thru, returns the pass 99 yards for a touchdown. I mean, this is what that whole defense is about. It's like that one play that just kind of flips the game over for Kansas City, especially in Kansas City.
And they get it every time somehow.
Every time.
Your quarterback fumbles.
Your quarterback fumbles.
Pain.
So
All I know is pain.
Not that this schedule matters too much because they could win
I
every
think
game, but
the first, I don't know. I like the Detroit game a lot. I really do. I think that's a really good opener because it's like, oh, hey, Detroit finally gets that primetime game they've been itching for. They rode the hot hand last year, going 8-2 in their last 10.
missing like
Doorstep of the playoffs.
right? Missing a couple players for gambling,
Oh, that's true. I was going to say you could easily have a 40-40 game, but
Yeah, they don't have Jameson Williams, who won't have a full season probably till 2024, but we'll see about that, what happens there. I mean, Jaguars, that's a really good playoff rematch. The Jets.
I honestly look forward to week 4. I think that Jets game could be a pretty gnarly game. Not going to lie.
I think it's probably like the game of the year that they're going to have.
be.
Biasness aside, I think that's like the game of the year for the Chiefs.
Well,
It-
whoa. Week 17, Cincinnati. I mean, that has to be.
well, I mean, that's the new
Or any
Manning
Chargers
Brady.
game. Or any Chargers game could be special. Like any Chargers game could be great.
they also have Buffalo and then the Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah,
in there.
Philly as well. I mean, kind of a wicked schedule.
Yeah.
That after that bye, that's a
Don't worry. They'll find a way to get 12 wins, though. 13 wins. Don't worry. Don't worry.
That first half, the first half of the season before the bye, they could maybe they drop 2, but that second half is
Tough.
Yeah, they're going to have to make their hay early in the
that's
season.
tough.
That back end is brutal. Oh, after the bye is a workload. So they're going to have to come out hot out of the gate.
Well, Andy off of a bye is usually pretty good, so I'm going to give them the win against us.
Oh, there's
The head coach, and he
there's
only has
the
like
nice
2
guy.
losses after the
There's
bye.
there's respect guy.
No, it's at home off a bye. That's usually a win for most good coaches.
I hear you. Trust me. They're good off a bye. I heard the same thing, and the Steelers somehow beat them with all field goals in the playoffs. Andy off a bye. So,
When was that?
When was that? In the playoffs. Oh,
Yeah.
God. 6 years ago? 7 years ago?
I think that was the Derek Carr year. The good
Oh,
one.
yeah. Okay, fair. That's how we got it. Me and Jake have that in our minds. But I mean,
Who stops the Chiefs?
to be honest, if it were to come down to week 18 against the Chargers, because we said the Chargers could put up the same numbers we just said the Chiefs could put up win-wise, right? It could happen. It could come down to week 18, honestly.
Really could, because we went through how the Chargers ended their schedules pretty easy. The Chiefs ended their schedules pretty rough. That last game could be the first seed, the division.
Yeah, it really could. The conference.
Card spot.
Yeah, seriously.
That-
And that's coming out of Cincinnati, too. That's tough. That is tough.
And that game is in Los Angeles too to end the season. That's a Hollywood game right there.
Not that makes that big of a difference, but it's just warm instead of cold.
it's just not Cincinnati.
But-
That's a dick move there, dog. Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. Well, sorry, that's too bad. Oh God, that's an awful point. Well, that doesn't matter. Yeah.
I just wanted to be a part of something. Okay.
I'm just thinking, all right, Cincinnati's at Kansas City, possibly in snow and cold, right? Whatever. That's gnarly. And then they go into warm LA. I was just saying. Maybe not the biggest crowd. But...
Or cold and rainy LA. I mean, it's been raining there for God knows how long.
Well, that's good. They need that. We won't see that again for 15 years.
I think the division literally could finish the same way it did this year.
Yes.
I think it could very well be the same thing.
I think a flip flop between Denver and
I think
Raiders.
Yes, that could be your coin flip. All right, boys.
Not that either make playoffs, but
Yeah, I don't think either make the playoffs.
No,
I
they're
think
going
the
to be
top
fighting
two
for a
make the
top 10
playoffs.
pick.
Yes.
what do we have?
No, they could be possibly fighting for a top 5 pick, the two of them.
They were 6-0 in the division last year. That's kind of gnarly, but
Yeah,
I think we're
done.
pretty decided here.
That's right.
I think we're done here. I think we're good. I think got everything out. We got diner steaks out, dirty laundry out. We got everything out. We got I don't know, Dom, you want to show off the putter really quick? The iron really quick?
Oh, this is what I unboxed, my 64-degree wedge. Look at this thing. This thing's gnarly. Look at this. That's an insane. I mean, you basically lay that thing flat. Yeah, this is like full swing. I might hit 20 yards. But it's a gap wedge, and honestly, it's kind of nice. I was using my friends the last 2 times I've hit a course, and there were some situations where I needed it, and it was honestly beautiful, and I swung amazingly with it, and it was exactly what I wanted. I was like, I need me one of these.
You want to show your technique really quick for the stream?
No, not really.
There is zero room.
There is zero room. What I'm gonna. All right, let me backswing Jake and then shin, and then come back and break my club against the desk. That's how I'm not doing that. We'll pass on that one.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our episode. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening this far. If you have, God bless you. And if you haven't, oh well, you didn't really hear this part. Oh well,
Didn't even sneeze.
Didn't even sneeze. Bless you. Thank you. But yeah, next week, the NFC West, which is a very interesting topic. Maybe the Cardinals might have the top 2 overall first-round picks next year. Who knows what's going on out there? Rams almost traded Stafford. Geno Smith is still not right in back, and he's cooking. And then the 49ers, man. Who's the quarterback?
Fair.
I don't know. Do you know? I don't know.
It's Sam Donald.
Damn.
I forgot about that. Wow. This is
hope
gonna
he's
be Will's
started.
favorite week then.
I know. I'm psyched out. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week. Maybe same time, maybe not. 6 o'clock. I don't know. We'll figure that out next week. But as always, like and subscribe. Rate us 5 stars on your podcast platform. And wherever you are watching, like us, subscribe, like the page, follow us. I don't know. I think we got it all. Follow us on TikTok. TikTok content.
Has good content. Yes.
TikTok has great content always, every single time. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.